Thank you very much for the invite. Thank you, Ines, for bringing a lot of speakers from not just Latin America, but also Brazil. And it's a pleasure to be here and to share and learn with you. So I'll talk a little bit about not only the foundation, but our view as well on what's happening in the context of the growth of artificial intelligence and how we see that this will impact teaching and also learning. What we have been studying here is that teaching and learning in the digital world will change, we know, dramatically the way we do everything. We we tend to sometimes position the debate in a way that we're talking about screen usage or we're talking about the use of digital tools. But the context that we see is that we need to look into technology in education, perhaps in a very deep way, because although all these issues that are touching our day-to-day activities, if we have kids or if we have students, are true, um, the the world has become a lot more digitalized, and the only thing we know is that this will move fast and fast, much faster than we can imagine. So we're facing rapid changes in the way we communicate, in the way we learn, in the way we work. Technology will help us automate a lot of processes, even in the classroom, understand data as we have never done before. That's why we can create vaccines now, or we can, do diagnosis in a much faster way. And we'll connect people in a better way in the future. So it is revolutionizing the way we look into security, economics, and even knowledge. Like the knowledge we have today, maybe with generative AI, is not enough. So it's in this context in which experiences are changing a lot, that we have a reality in which the very aspect of why human beings are, like, what our role in society and also our aspirations will change. I recently read a book about it's called The Age of AI. I don't know if you have seen it. I think it's a nice book. It's called The Age of AI and Our Human Future. It's written by Eric Schmidt from former CEO of Google, together with a professor from MIT and an American diplomat that was awarded the Nobel Prize Peace because of his works during the Vietnam War. And they talk a lot about how AI will change our very context in which we operate. And what we're looking into it here in the foundation is that it is in this complex world that we need to start looking into education in a way that we'll have to learn how to bridge the gap between all these opportunities that we have to use AI in favor of human development, in favor of environmental development, as well as acknowledging that we still have very basic needs that are unmet. And in Brazil, that's a reality that we're at the foundation, we experience a lot. We want to talk about innovation in the classroom, but at the same time, our schools are not connected to the internet. And so this complexity brings our it it makes us think how we can use technology to accelerate process, knowing that we cannot wait to level the playing field for everyone to then talk about technology. We have to do everything at the same time. So that's the first thing that we're thinking when we're developing our programs here. The second thing is, I think COVID has brought to us the experience in which teachers were obligated to use technology if they had the infrastructure for, which wasn't the case in Brazil. But still, we were looking at teaching in a way that they were digitalizing experiences that were before analogic. We were not using the full potential of technology. So I think the good news is that we now know you cannot substitute teachers. That, you know, that idea that, you know, AI will come and substitute teachers, because there's a human interaction that needs to happen. And that's not just, you know, digitalizing the classroom. So that was a good thing. But at the same time, we're still facing, you know, a context, and we see a lot of that in our programs, in which we have a lot of digital tools being developed in a very fast pace, usually by corporations like the UNESCO, the latest UNESCO reports brings, that are not connected to the classroom oftentimes. And it's really hard for teachers to understand how to curate this digital these tools, and how to talk about digital citizenship, and how to talk about professional development. And so we started looking into what is the level of digital competences really in the country. And in a research done by an institution here called CIEB, that was able to measure that within 120,000 teachers, we saw that on a scale of 1 to 5, they were level 1, sometimes 2. That means that they understand that technology could play a role. They consume technology, usually social media, but they have no idea of how to use it. So I think we have an opportunity here to talk about infrastructure in the context of Latin America, but also to have a wake-up call that we need to bring this profession to the digital world, to the digital context. It's no longer acceptable that we have a profession like the educator that's not minimally capable of using technology. And that's something that needs to be pushed by public policy. We need people studying that, what works and what doesn't work. And like the UNESCO report says, it needs to be done on our own terms, which means that people who are in schools, in school boards, these are the ones that should shape how the debate and how the practices are going to work. So that's a little bit of our view. And my third point, just to keep here my time, that we need to prepare students as well. So students in the context of Latin America and Brazil, they will go through the whole process of schooling, and they will be facing a job market that is absolutely digitalized and technological, and will be transformed at a pace that will require us to think, what are we bringing to these students? So we're talking about social emotional intelligence, because these are really the skills that we need to develop in our students. Of course, mathematics and language, I think those hard skills are still necessary, and we're not even able to do that for now. Literacy rates in Brazil are really bad, the mathematical skills as well. And we need to bring the technological aspect as well. It's not reasonable that a student that leaves high school and will go to a job market has never thought of computing, has never thought of programming minimally, not to learn the tools themselves, but also the computational thinking, the aspects that have to do, which means that they will not be prepared for this world. It's not acceptable that we do not discuss the role of algorithms in our lives if we're connected the whole day to social media, which is what our young people are. So there are a lot of things that we at the foundation are working to bring to curriculums in partnership with the government, this layer of technology that will help our schools prepare students for the job markets, but also to become citizens that are more prepared to the world that they're going to encounter. So I think these are the three main points. So just so I stick to the time, and
Thank you,
happy
Lia.
to learn and share with you. Thank you.